Have you tried the keto 2-ingredient bagel recipe and did it work for you? Welcome to the Keto Baking Mechanic, where we create, tweak, and enhance keto and low-carb breads and baked goods, including authentic keto and low-carb sourdough. Hi, I'm Sherry Mack. You'll always get the recipe link in the description. Be sure to like the recipe. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure that you hit that notification bell so you can be informed when I have other videos coming down the pike. The viral keto 2-ingredient bagel recipe, the actual bagels wouldn't even qualify as a flagel, which are flat bagels. It was more like flattened paper. And you know what? It just didn't have the substance. It was getting close, but it really didn't have the substance of true, authentic keto bagels. So we're going to try to change that today. This is a new recipe. I did the flattened flagel bagel things yesterday, didn't like them. So we're going to do this right now by adding 2 functional properties to the 2 ingredients. So it's staying the same, 2 ingredients, but we're going to add 2 functional properties and see how they actually turn out. So the first thing we're going to do is start with spraying our pan with non-stick cooking spray. I use olive oil, sometimes avocado oil. So we're just going to spray that down. I get my parchment paper to stick to the pan by adding a little bit of water or some spray at the bottom just to seal it. I just like it. I don't like it moving around when I'm trying to get the bagels onto the pan. So just a little tip. Okay, so we're going to start by adding our ingredients. What I did like about this recipe was that you could use the full fat cottage cheese with the big chunks, the higher big chunks. And actually the higher chunks I think are better because they add structure like real bread. So I'm not going to puree this. We're just going to add the cottage cheese to our bowl. And the second ingredient that the recipe calls for is almond flour. So we're going to add the almond flour. Now, it was those 2 ingredients that created the flattened flagels yesterday that, in my opinion, didn't turn out, and they actually didn't taste like bagels. We're going to add 2 more functioning properties and see how they turn out. So first of all, I'm going to add some double-acting baking powder, and I'm adding this because the baking powder not only adds a golden tinge to the bagels, I've known that from other recipes, but also I think it might give them more of a dough taste, like a bagel taste. So I'm going to add that in. Okay, and the second functioning property I'm going to use is xanthan gum. It's also 0 carb. I think it's going to help these bagels keep their structure. So when I put them on the baking tray and they look like bagels, and even though I know they're going to expand, I don't think they're going to fall apart and turn into a piece of paper like a flattened circle. I think what they will do is stay the same shape. So I'm just going to sprinkle the xanthan gum. Now I'm working with a teaspoon of this. And by the way, if you'd like to try keto bagels, keto sourdough bagels, that it's a super simple recipe, be sure to watch the video at the end of this video. Okay, so we've got these 2 ingredients and we're just going to mix those together with the 2 functioning properties into a dough. Now, I am going to need gloves because, as I did yesterday, because using a spatula is not going to get the dough texture that I like. So let me put on some gloves. Just going to press it in a little bit. And now I'm going to use my hand to pull the dough together. Now, this is going to make 4 bagels. So you could really double the recipe. There's about 2 cups of cottage cheese in a tub. So you could use the whole tub and make 6. So, but sorry, that would be 8, not 6. So, okay, so you can see by looking at the dough that it actually shows the big chunks of cottage cheese. We're going to see how this xanthan gum really works. So what I'm going to do is, this is an extra step I didn't do yesterday that I'm going to do today. We're actually just going to cover this and let it sit for about 10 minutes so the xanthan gum can do its job by really pulling this dough together. Okay, so we've let the dough sit for about 10 minutes, and we're going to pull off this plastic wrap, throw that out, and we're going to divide this into 4 balls. So now I'm just going to bring my cookie sheet over and I'm going to flatten it. Make sure they're round, flatten it, stick a hole in the middle. It's going to fall apart a bit. That's okay. We're going to fix them once they're on the tray. So you just use your hands, go around and fix it. Also be a little bit golden from the baking powder rather than white. And you could actually use an egg wash here if you like, of either the whole egg mixed with water or just the egg yolk. But I use just some cooking spray, some olive oil spray, because the oil will also help them to look browned. So I'm going to do that after I give them some homemade everything but the bagel seasoning. I like to make it myself because I don't like all the sodium in the one that you buy. I like to keep my sodium as low as possible for heart health. I'm not on a strict keto diet. I don't need to have a lot of salt in my diet. So I just going to put these on. I like lots of seasoning. I'm a non-taster, as you probably know from other videos. So the more flavor, the better with me. That's why I have to watch my salt intake, because when you're a non-taster, meaning you have fewer taste buds, a super taster is somebody with lots of taste buds, medium taster is someone who falls in between, and a non-taster is someone who has fewer taste buds. So non-tasters, like me, tend to want more fat, more salt, more flavor. And when that happens, because you want more, you tend to have more weight. Hence how I lost 70 pounds doing a flexible keto lifestyle, along with exercise and lots of other things like prayer and you name it, I did it. But I've kept the weight off now for 15 years. And part of that, keeping the weight off, was really using my food and wine pairing training, which was my former career for over 30 years, learning about the kind of taster you are, because that helps to dictate why you need so much food. So hopefully, with lots of seasoning on here, we're going to have some pretty cool 2-ingredient bagels with 2 functioning properties. Lower sodium because it's homemade. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to give these babies a little bit of this is a olive oil. Yeah, this is an olive oil spray, but you can also do avocado. Okay, we're 6 minutes into the baking process. The room, I wish you were here. It's filled with the smell of baking dough. It smells so good. And guess what? So far, the bagels are keeping their shape. They are no longer paper thin, not even qualifying for flagels. They are legitimate bagels. I'm going to let them sit right now for a couple of minutes on the baking tray and then transfer them over to the wire rack. And then we're going to taste them. Okay. I get excited about food, sorry. Okay, we're going to transfer them over to the wire rack. Let them cool. And then we're going to do our taste test. Oh, here we go. Do our taste test. Okay, we're going to try these babies and see how they turned out. Okay, so a couple of things. So when you put them in the oven, you're going to cover them with foil for about 15 minutes, then take the foil off and continue baking, because the outside bakes faster than the interior. And I believe that's because of the xanthan gum. So I'll have that in the recipe as well. So 15 minutes foil, take the foil off, and then you're going to bake it again for another 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what you're putting the oven at. So let's taste this. It looks great. It's golden. It smells like a delicious bagel, at least a baked good. I smell bagel. You may smell something different. And let's taste it. Oh my goodness, it's moist, crunchy on the outside. Because of the xanthan gum, it's got some chewiness. Now, is it a wheat bagel? No. Pretty good though.